Good afternoon. Approximately 30 days ago, I received information from Jim Weinstein, the Executive Director of New Jersey Transit, which called into great concern the projected cost of the ARC tunnel. At that time, I concurred with Chairman Weinstein's recommendation that we take a 30-day timeout, allow him to meet with federal officials, engineers on the project, and others to come back to me with both revised cost estimates and a recommendation from the ARC Executive Steering Committee regarding the future of the project. I met this morning with Executive Director Weinstein, and he delivered to me the report of the ARC Executive Steering Committee. Their best estimates now are that the ARC tunnel will cost no less than $11 billion and could exceed $14 billion. In light of that information, the Executive Committee has made a recommendation to me that the project be terminated and that the staff begin an expeditious and orderly wind down of the project, and today I have accepted that recommendation. Bottom line is this. New Jersey has gone for too long and for too many decades ordering things that they can't pay for. Now, this project has some flaws to it, which have been pointed out by a number of folks, both in the media and in the transportation world. But in the end, this decision is a financial decision. When weighing all the interests, I simply cannot put the taxpayers of the state of New Jersey on what would be a never-ending hook. You see, because the federal government made very clear to me back in February in a meeting that I had with Secretary LaHood that $3 billion was all the federal government was prepared to fund and not a penny more. And in fact, you've heard the full funding agreement mentioned often. And the full funding agreement between New Jersey Transit and the New Jersey officials and the federal government would say that any costs above the current $8.7 billion cost projection would be borne solely by the state of New Jersey. Under those circumstances, I simply cannot responsibly allow this to go forward. The state of New Jersey is broke. We cannot afford to take on a liability that at best is additional $2 billion and at worst could exceed $5 billion as this project moves forward and is not projected to be completed until 2018. And so one could expect that the costs could rise even higher. I liked this project initially because I want to see mass transit utilized more. I think it was flawed because it was sent to a place where there are no other connections for any other trains, where we'd have to spend in excess of $1 billion to build a station, and that there was no connection in that station to other trains on the east side of Manhattan at Grand Central, or even over to Penn Station or Moynihan. So there were flaws in the plan, but it was a plan that Governor Corzine had put forward and had approved and had full funding, or so I was told, for that entire project. And under those circumstances, in the midst of the campaign, I said I would be supportive of it and would continue it. But now, when you're talking about $2.3 to $5 billion more, the state simply doesn't have the money. And I'm not going to ask the taxpayers of the state of New Jersey to take it on faith that a project tunneling under Manhattan Island and the Hudson River will run even close to these cost estimates. Our previous experiences with these type of projects and current ones tell us that it will get even worse before it gets better. In the end, people sent me here to make these kind of decisions. The easiest thing in the world would be for me to say, well, let's let it go forward and let whoever else is in this office in 2018 deal with the problem. That's not who the people of New Jersey elected. It's not who I am, and it's not the way I'm going to conduct myself in this office. and there will be some who will be critical of this. I recognize that there's $3 billion in federal money that has been put towards this project. It's now time for our United States senators to work in the Congress to redirect that money to other worthwhile infrastructure projects in New Jersey, and we have plenty of them that merit federal funding. And so I call on Senator Menendez and Senator Lautenberg to use their significant influence in the United States Senate and the Congress to be able to redirect that money to a project that will not potentially bankrupt the taxpayers of New Jersey. Lastly, the whole argument that, well, there's $3 billion in federal money, so you have to do it, is crazy. It's a crazy argument. The $3 billion in federal funding doesn't even get us a third of the way under the river. And I'm not going to put the taxpayers of our state on the hook for costs that are well in excess of what this was originally projected to be. I think it's a good lesson for all of us. When you rush these things, to start for reasons that are not having anything to do with the project itself, when you push projects that are ill-conceived because you don't have cooperation on the other side of the river to do the project that you really wanted to do, when you try to fit a size 10 foot into a size 7 shoe, is never going to work. And now when you ask people to put up with that and to pay $2 to $5 billion more, or more than that, going forward, that's simply not the kind of decision that a fiscally responsible governor can allow to happen. And so, I take no joy in making this decision because it reverses a position I took during the campaign. But I now have new information that I didn't have during the campaign. And simply put, that the $8.7 billion estimate was a fiction. And in fact, the federal government's been saying it's going to be much more than that for quite some time. We now have confirmation from the people in charge of managing this project, New Jersey Transit, that it would cost anywhere between $11 and $14 billion. And on that basis, I've accepted the Executive Steering Committee's recommendation to cancel the project, and I've told Executive Director Weinstein to begin an orderly shutdown of the project immediately.